No matter what, people will commit to misunderstanding you. What's most important is your commitment to understanding yourself. Hello, you guys. My name is Nkira Madani, known as NK, and welcome back to Misunderstood. Today, we are talking about how to get comfortable with being alone. This is a very important topic to me because I spend a lot of time alone and I have grown to really love and enjoy my solo time. This is not to say that I don't like being around other people. I have definitely talked about how I really love being around other people. I love being social and I do feel enriched and recharged around others. However, this topic is very important to the human experience because everyone needs to, at some point, feel comfortable being alone, comfortable with their own company. But before we get started, take some time right now to rate this show, Misunderstood, 5 stars. I love this podcast. I know a lot of people also do as well, and I'm so happy that I have brought it into fruition. I see how much it's impacted so many other people, and that makes me really, really proud. Rating the show does go very far, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. So I do always think it's important for me to say this at the top of each episode. It is really important to rate the show, specifically 5 stars, because it tells Spotify, it tells the algorithms of these platforms that this is a show that other people should listen to as well. As this podcast grows, I can do more with this podcast and I can produce and give you guys more and more as time goes on, which is the goal. So if you have not already, please take some time to rate this show, Misunderstood, 5 stars on both Apple and Spotify. Leave a written review as well if you feel so inclined to. Thank you so much. All right. So like I said, today we're talking about how to get comfortable with being alone, being by yourself, spending your time solo. This is a very important skill that everyone should have. I learned it not too long ago, but ever since I did, I truly believe I'm better for it. I believe that I have unlocked something in myself that has helped me see myself in a much more positive light. And it has also allowed me to remember that I am okay. I am okay. You are okay. You will get through anything because you know at the end of the day, you have yourself. It's very, very important for us to know who we are, understand who we are at a very core level, and be able to move through life with that confidence and reassurance. This episode is an ode to the solo girls, the girls who love to spend their time solo, but also if you really want to put this into motion, this is absolutely the episode for you. So first off, I'm directly speaking to the girls who are maybe afraid of spending time alone, maybe afraid of the perception from other people, maybe just generally uncomfortable with the idea of being alone. The first thing we're going to do is unpack it. I think it really is important to put words to how we feel because in our brains, a lot is swirling around in there. And once we put it on paper, I have found that a lot of things are less scary when we write it down. What I want you to do right now is go grab a piece of paper. I want this to be a true paper. I don't want you to write it down on your phone or anything digital. I want you to literally take a piece of paper, grab a pen, grab a pencil, write this down. I want you to write down your fear and hesitations about being alone. Literally, what exactly are you afraid of? Only you can answer that. In the past, I was afraid of other people thinking that I was weird for being alone, for other people thinking that I don't have friends. Those were the main 2 that I was worried about. But I ask you, what are you worried about? What are your fears and hesitations about being alone, spending your time alone? Take some time, write that down, be very honest with yourself. Only you is looking at this paper. This is not for public viewing. Be honest. Be thoughtful about your fears and hesitations. Next, I want you to write down what is the worst thing that could happen by going out by yourself. This is a little uncomfortable. This is an uncomfortable thing to think about and definitely write down because you're literally putting words to how you feel. But again, no one's going to look at this paper. Be honest with yourself. What exactly are you afraid of by going out by yourself, spending some time out in public by yourself? What is the worst that can happen? You feel uncomfortable thinking about it and writing about it, and that's the point. It's important to disrupt our comfortability in order to grow. As I mentioned in past episodes, your comfort zone keeps you safe, but there's no growing that happens there. And this podcast is for you to encourage yourself to be a better version of yourself. That is the reason this podcast exists. So I want you to be honest about yourself. What exactly is the worst thing that you can think of happening being out by yourself. If it's dark, it's dark, but I really want you to go there. I want you to go there and actually be extremely honest with what you think the worst that can happen. Some of the worst things that I have thought in the past that could happen is I get made fun of and stared at by a group of guys. I don't know why that was my biggest fear, but it was. And here we are. This is a safe space, and I'm sharing that with you. Be honest. What is yours? And why we're calling them out by name is to not give them power anymore. That is the reason that we're calling them out by name. And now this is the most fun part of this entire activity, because you are literally going to take that piece of paper, go into your kitchen, get your match, get a lighter, then you're going to go somewhere outside and you are going to light the paper on fire. You are literally going to burn the paper. Yeah. That's exactly what you're going to do. This signifies the power you hold. You are in charge of your feelings. You are in charge of how you react to what happens to you. And the act of burning the piece of paper literally will show you in real time that the fear that you wrote on that piece of paper, it will vanish. It will vanish in an instant. You are more powerful than your fear. You always have to remember that. I feel like that's a really, really great activity for anybody to do to really kickstart why they feel apprehension, hesitation, or fear around being alone. And now I want to shift the conversation to true activities that you can do on your own. So we're going to start with a daytime activity, and we're actually going to start indoors. I think it's important to take baby steps in this journey. Sometimes you can fully send it. I have fully sent it in the past, and I have told the story about how I fully sent it on a solo trip a very long time ago for the very first time, but we're starting with baby steps. We're starting at the beginning. I want you guys to start with a indoor solo activity. It's important to really get comfortable with yourself by yourself before you then go out in public by yourself. We're taking baby steps. There are endless activities that you can obviously do indoors. I have mentioned a ton of them, but I want you to play some music. I think it's important to have some background music here. I want you to do a craft. If you're not super hands-on crafty, I want you to do something that does not involve work and involves the creative part of your brain. The easier, more tangible things are a hands-on activity, but if that's not your journey, it is up to you to find an activity that does not involve work and taps into the creative part of your brain, and set a time goal. I think it's important to show yourself that you can spend time alone for X amount of time and successfully do it. I say try to do 2 hours. I think 2 hours is a very generous amount of time. So set about a 2-hour timer, do an activity on your own, and see how you feel after that. If you want to journal about it after, definitely encourage, but it's important for you to do the activity for a set amount of time and then reflect on your own with how you feel about it. And now we have graduated to doing a daytime activity outdoors. Once again, there are a ton of activities that you can do outdoors. Truly limitless. Some of the things that I have done recently by myself out in public. I have went to the museum. I've went to the park. I've went to the mall. I went to go see a movie by myself. I went roller skating by myself, and I went to a bar by myself. Of course, all of these have very differing degrees of complexity. Also, degrees of comfortability. I'll be honest, there were some of those things that weren't super comfortable at first, like going to sit at a bar by myself. I've only done that a few times, but each time I do it and I get through it, because of course you're going to get through anything that you do, you just get a new notch of confidence under your belt. And you say, wait, that wasn't so bad. And I can do that again. All right, now we have graduated to going to dinner by yourself. This is very, very important in the human experience as well. There will come a time where you will need to go eat and it'll be nighttime and you find yourself by yourself. Probably. And you need to be comfortable in that effort. You need to be able to go sit by yourself, spend time with yourself, eat, nourish yourself, enjoy a meal, stay if you want, leave, whatever. But you need to be able to do that comfortably. I recommend going somewhere you love at first, somewhere that you've tried so many times. It is your tried and true. You know that you will always have a good experience. At least the meal will be a good experience, and it's comfortable. It's familiarity to an extent. And that's where you should start. You don't have to jump off the deep end right at the beginning. No one's asking you to, but going somewhere that you know and you can already vouch for, and you already know the layout, you already know what you're in for, And now the only difference is that you're going by yourself, and that's not a big deal. When I solo dine, I love to sit at the bar. The bartenders are usually very chatty, and they can obviously see that you're by yourself. So they make an added effort to converse with you, which is very, very sweet. And there's so many times where I have been at the bar by myself and people next to me strike up a conversation with me. I have even striked up conversation with other people, and that makes me really proud. And stuff like that is really hard for me to do, believe it or not. I know I have a mic, I have a podcast. I know I come off very confident, and a lot of ways I am, but there's a lot of ways I'm not. And doing those practices have really instilled more confidence in me over time. And then we're going to graduate into trying a new place that you've never been to. So this shakes it up a little bit. You are not familiar with this place because you, of course, have never been there, but this is somewhere that's on your bucket list. It's a place that you have wanted to try for a long time. So there's already an interest level there that keeps you intrigued and excited to go. And what I want you to do is challenge yourself. Mini challenges are really, really great to feel accomplished. I want you to challenge yourself to stay off your phone for pretty much the entire time. Yes, you're probably going to have to look at your phone at some point, totally. But make it a point to try to be off your phone as much as possible. What you can do in substitute is bring a book. I love bringing books to the places I dine. It's something I can do with my hands that does not involve my phone. Time truly flies when I'm reading, and it doesn't feel so lonely. Or you can go rogue and just sit and exist and people watch. That is very welcomed, very encouraged. I've done that a ton when I have traveled solo around the world. I just go and sit at the bar, chat a little bit with the bartender, and just eat. Just eat in silence, and that's okay. Life is full of moments, and we don't have to fill them all up with chat. We can just exist. And honestly, I think the most fruitful times I've ever dined on my own and sat in silence and just took stock of who was around me, people watching, and just existing, enjoying my food, just being really intentional about the entire night, have been some of the most memorable nights of my life. And I want everyone to experience that. Now that we've gone through many different ways that you can spend time by yourself, indoors and outdoors, I want to give you guys a rundown on my perfect solo day. I think it's fun to get some really tangible step-by-step advice and guidance for people who really, really like the nitty-gritty niche chat. I love these kind of things, and I love when people do a full rundown of their day because I can insert myself into the conversation. I can actually imagine myself living that day. So I think these are actually super, super helpful. So I bring you my perfect solo day. And this is very New York specific because I live in New York, but wherever you live, try to imagine yourself on your perfect solo day. Maybe we might have similar solo days. I'm just reading this straight off my phone. All right, so first, I'm waking up around 8 a.m. I am a morning person. Currently, I'm trying to wake up at 7 a.m. That's my goal time for wake up. But on a perfect solo day, also, this is most likely on a weekend that I'm doing this, but my perfect solo day, I'm waking up around 8 a.m. I'm getting ready and I'm wearing a cute outfit, and more importantly, a comfy, cute outfit. I want to look cute, but I also want to be comfy. I'm wearing comfy shoes. I'm bundled up. I'm feeling good. I have layers on so that I can take off certain things if it gets too warm, but layers are important here. And the getting ready process is very important for me. So dialing back before I even get clothes on, I'm wearing my robe and I'm playing music in my room and I'm at my vanity. I have my light on. I'm singing along to my playlist and I'm taking my time getting ready. If I take my time getting ready, it's taking me at least 30 minutes to do my makeup. And that is a slow, drawn out process. If I'm speeding through it, I can get it done in probably 15. But for me, I love romanticizing my getting ready routine. And it also helps me build my confidence. It's almost prepping me and building me up for the day ahead, spending an entire day by myself. So I highly recommend really romanticizing your getting ready process and really leaning into it. All right, and now it's around 10 a.m. and I'm going to be going to a cafe. I really do like starting my mornings with a cafe run. I just love the aesthetic of cafes, and New York literally has some of the most beautiful cafes I have ever seen in my life. So there's so many to choose from, but one that I went to recently was called Stone Street Cafe, and it is technically in NoHo. It's on the edge of NoHo, and it's pretty big in there. They have indoor seating, they have a back patio seating, they have front seating, they have a lot. They have food, they have drinks, they have everything. There's a lot of light that comes in, outlets, everything. They have it all. So I really like it there. I got a strawberry matcha there and it was pretty good. But most importantly, we are taking our journal and we are sitting at the cafe and we're journaling while we sip our drink. I started doing this not too long ago and I really enjoyed spending 30, 45 minutes, maybe even up to an hour at a coffee shop. And again, just brain dumping. I'm just writing down anything I feel. It's such a liberating process. If you haven't done it, please do so. I highly encourage it. Honestly, makes me feel like such a main character sitting at a coffee shop, having a beverage in the morning and writing. There's nothing like it. Around 11 a.m., so about an hour later, we're actually going to another coffee shop specifically for matcha. So I'm amending the earlier statement. I'm going to Stone Street Cafe, or a cafe that I really like, for a pastry or some type of food. Yes, when I went to Stone Street Cafe, the first time I did get a strawberry matcha, but we're not getting a matcha first. I'm also trying to make sure I eat food before I consume any type of caffeine. And yes, matcha has a little bit of caffeine. So you should always be putting food in your stomach before you start drinking any type of caffeine. So I'm amending that one. We're actually going to grab a pastry, maybe a little snack at Stone Street Cafe, and we are going to journal there. And now, an hour later, we're walking over to our favorite matcha spots and we're going to get a matcha. So I wrote down Maman and Blank Street. Those are the two places in the city that I love their matcha so much. I talk about it all the time. I actually got a Blank Street this morning. I love it. Maman is definitely more aesthetic, meaning they have beautiful seating and beautiful interior. Blank Street is more of a grab and go. So depending on my mood, if I want to grab my matcha and just walk around, I'll go to Blank Street. If I want to just sit and vibe and sip my matcha, I'll go to Maman. All right, now it is around 12 p.m. and we're going to the park. Have to go to the park. I love nature. I love being around trees, plants. The air is just fresher in a park, of course. It helps me reconnect with slower living. In a park, it just feels slower, especially in the concrete jungle of New York. There can be a lot of things that are very chaotic and very fast paced, but every single time I dip into the park, I just automatically feel so much more calm. My park of choice is Central Park, which is no surprise, but there are a few other parks that I love going to, like Madison Square Park, but we're going to go to Central Park for our perfect solo day, and we're going to read. We're going to read whatever book I'm fancying at the moment. I love reading romance books, especially when I'm out in New York on a beautiful day, because it truly makes me feel like my life is a rom-com and it's really fun. So read whatever tickles your fancy, but I'll probably be reading a romance. About an hour later, we're going to go to the museum. This is when a New York City library card comes in clutch every single time. If you didn't know, a New York City library card grants you actually a lot of stuff. It grants you more than just museums. There's a ton that they list on their website, but most museums are absolutely free with a New York City library card. So I like to take it upon myself to go see the arts every chance I get. And right next to Central Park, we actually have two major museums on both sides. On the east side, we have the Met, and on the west side, we have the Natural History Museum. So you take your pick. I love both. I've been to both now. It's a toss of a coin. I would go to either of them on my perfect solo day and spend maybe an hour or two walking around. All right, now it is about 2:30 p.m. and we're hungry. It's time for lunch and I'm going to get a lunch deal. There are so many places that have really, really good lunch deals, but I want to formally shout out Fumo. I almost want to gatekeep this place because it is that good, but there are a ton of locations in Manhattan. I love Fumo. I went to the one in Soho recently with my friends and we had the best experience. I went during dinner, but when we went, I saw that they had a lunch deal, so I had to come back. The food is so good. It's Italian and they have an amazing Caesar salad. They have an amazing ragu bolognese, which is literally my favorite Italian dish. And pretty much the entire menu is a $12 deal during lunch. So I'm absolutely going to go there and sit and have a nice solo lunch. All right, now it's around 3 p.m. and we're going to take a walk. I love taking walks after eating. It just helps move things along in our body and also not feel so tired because, of course, once we eat, we can feel a little slumped. So taking a post-meal walk is always the right idea. And my neighborhood of choice is the West Village. It is just the cutest area ever. I love West Village so much. There are a lot of really cute stores there. There are stationery stores, there are mom and pop stores, there are bookstores, there are decor stores. They have everything. And we're going to spend at least an hour, maybe even two, just bopping around all of the different stores, maybe getting some stuff for our journal, our scrapbook. We are just going to really lean into that solo activity. All right. And now, before you know it, it is already 5 p.m. and we're going to go to happy hour. I love the idea of a solo happy hour. You can use this time to be fully solo at the bar, but it's also a great time to potentially mingle with other people who are at the bar as well or in the space. One of my favorite places ever is Bobo in the West Village. We're already going to be in the West Village, so we're just going to walk on over to Bobo. I love this place so much. I actually had a birthday happy hour here 2 years ago now, and it was so much fun. This space is gorgeous. This is one of the most gorgeous restaurants in New York City. Again, there's things I want to gatekeep, but here I am. I'm telling the girls because I clearly want you guys to experience this as well. I love Bobo. They have an amazing happy hour as well. They have a really good wine happy hour. I think they have other things for happy hour, but I've gotten the wine a few times and I love it. And I will be going back. The most recent time I went there, I took my book and I sat at the bar, got a large glass of red wine, and I read. And it was so main character. It was amazing. It was therapeutic in a way. The space is so dimly lit as well. You literally feel like you are this sexy, mysterious girl in a movie. I love it. I love that place. And I literally have to go there as soon as possible. All right. And now it's 6:30 p.m. and we're going to have dinner. We're going to have a little bit of an early dinner. I actually usually eat dinner around 7, but we're going to have a little early dinner here because my lunch was a lot more heavy. I had pasta, and don't get me wrong, I love pasta, but I had a pretty heavy lunch, so I want a lighter dinner. And one of my favorite places in New York City is actually a place that I first went to in Miami. It's called Pura Vida. It started in Miami and they brought it over to New York very recently. They have now, I think, 3 locations in Manhattan, but I love Pura Vida. It's really fresh food. I love their grilled kale Caesar salad. It is so good. It is a little pricey, I'll be honest, but it is very good. They have really, really fresh ingredients. That salad will hit every damn time. So that's actually what I'm having for dinner. And while I'm eating, I'm either reading or, again, I'm just chilling and existing and maybe people watching. Maybe I'm listening to some music in my AirPods. And one thing about me, I absolutely need a sweet treat. So around 8 p.m., we are going to walk on over to one of my favorite bakeries in the entire city, which is Levain. They are known for the best chocolate chip cookie in the city, in the state, something like that. But this was one of the first things I had when I moved to New York City, and I literally never looked back. I believe it's the double chocolate chip cookie. It is so good. Oh my God, I want one right now, actually. It is so, so good. So I'm going to get one of the chocolate chip cookies and I'm going to eat it on my way home. And just like that, we did our perfect solo day. That is literally my perfect solo day. If anyone asked me to tell them my perfect solo day, I will just send them this episode. This is exactly all of my highlights / things that are very comforting for me to do by myself, that bring me joy, that make me feel confident, that make me feel happy and very in tune with myself. So my ask for you is to make your own perfect solo day list. Take some of the things that I said, make your own from scratch, whatever you want to do. But I think it's really fun to craft your own dream date, your own perfect day, and then you're actually going to live that day. I don't want you to just write it down. One day you are actually going to live that day and you're going to be really proud of yourself for actually doing it. All right. And then I also just wanted to end off with a little bonus item for this solo conversation. Of course, there is so many things that you can do solo, big and small, but this bonus item I just wanted to throw in because I have spent so much time solo traveling. I actually have an entire episode on the podcast dedicated to traveling solo, and that is episode 25 of this podcast. So go check that out if you feel really empowered and want to go on your own solo trip. Solo travel is very, very important to me. It's definitely a pillar of my life. It has helped me really gain so much confidence in myself over time. And my very first solo trip was in 2018. So it has been a long time coming, and I've grown in myself so much. And I really want everybody to experience traveling solo as well. And yes, of course, that one is definitely a very big feat. I highly recommend doing all of the things previously I said to first build your confidence. And maybe one day you will also do a solo trip and you know that you can do it. Obviously, I'm just saying I'm excited for you when you actually do it. But solo traveling is a very, 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 very fruitful way to connect with yourself and really build confidence while you are solo. That is the entire list, guys. I really hope that this episode struck a chord with somebody, and I hope that anybody who's listening to this who has ever felt uncomfortable or scared to venture off solo, just know that you are your home and you need to make sure that every day feels super fruitful. And that means that you will be doing some things alone, and consider this your toolkit for your solo time. And with that, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Misunderstood. Remember to rate this show 5 stars on Apple and Spotify and follow it wherever you are listening. Join our Geneva group chat. It is always linked in the description of every single podcast episode. Hang out with me on my other socials, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest at NK Madani. And I will talk to you guys in my next one.